530 at Heli Seeker Base in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. We're going to do a bit of a real basics, sort of beginners tutorial just to try and get to grips with the helicopter, because I've had a few people ask me just to show them how to fly it, so we'll just be real basic. So for a start, I'll take off and we'll just head out to the training zone, just to the north of where I've got set up. The trick is it's just being real smooth and precise and patient too, because it takes quite a lot of time to really get a feel for flying helicopters in the sim. It doesn't really matter too much what setup you've got. Obviously, the more closer or more accurate it is to the real life thing, the easier it will be for you to control it. But you can do it with just a basic joystick and throttle. You do need the anti-torque input, so you'll either need pedals or a twist grip. Recommend pedals to get the best experience, but you'll still be able to get the grips of it. VR will definitely help. You don't have to have VR, but VR is one of those things that will definitely help, because you get that sort of depth perception. So I'm sitting here, and if I move across and look out, I can see the helipad just underneath me there. And now if I look over that side, you can see it's just so much, and it's all 3D, whereas on a monitor you'll be able to do it, but you won't have the same visual feedback that helps just aid in the distance judgments and speeds and things, because there's a lot going on trying to fly a helicopter. So we'll just land on this one. Alright, let's get started. So as you can see, I'll lift off without doing anything. So probably the biggest one to get used to for flying helicopters in the sim is the cyclic, which is your main stick, your joystick, and then your anti-torque pedals. You'll need to be using them, and your collective as well. So if I just have the pedals centered here, and without moving the cyclic or the pedals, I'm just going to pull up on the razor collective, and you'll see what happens. I just automatically started correcting it, but I shouldn't, just to show you. So it's going to rotate on the spot there, because it's just wanting to go the opposite way as we apply power to the main rotor. So now to keep that level, I'll just use the pedals now and the collective as I come up without touching the cyclic. See how it's pitching forward, because we've changed by adding pedal in. So what we're going to do is, as we come up there, we'll now pull a little bit of left and right. This is obviously in a helicopter with I can't even tell which way the rotors are rotating. I should know. But you can get right hand and left hand rotors, so it'll be different inputs for that. So this one is left pedal, is to counteract the torque. So and this is what Stu taught me recently, was to minimize the cyclic inputs, which helps a lot in keeping it nice and stable. So you can see, if you look at, I'll try and look down so you can see my cyclic. It's hardly moving, but I am moving it just enough to try and stay on the spot. Like if I actually physically make it so you can see it, it just it'll roll, and then I lose a little bit of authority on the tail there too. I've got to figure out which way the wind's coming from here. So practicing hovering is probably a good way to get started. Just pick something like the Cabri is a good one to start with in the sim for getting a feel for it. I'm in the Shrike 530 at the moment, this is probably one of my favourite ones. So What else can we do? It's just trying to build muscle memory is the easiest way to get started, so you don't over control it. And another tip that Stu taught me was when you're coming into land, pick a point, especially in helicopters. Like if you're looking at where you want to land, you will end up coming to a hover in front of it. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll just get up and get going here. Fly out of here. I'll just pick a H over here on the ground. So we'll pick the one, but there's one between the, well, there's actually a few. We'll pick the middle one between the two big ones in front. So we'll aim to land at the small H in the center. So this is, I'm just going to aim at the H, and so I'll show you what happens if you aim where you want to land and you keep looking at it. You'll end up coming to a hover just in front of it because you're keeping it in sight the whole time. This is something I hadn't actually realised for a long time as to why I was always coming up short, but it makes a lot of sense. So now obviously I have to move forward to land over it, so if I take off again, I'll go out this way. We'll just do a big left-hand orbit and come back around, set up again for it. And this time, instead of looking at the H, which we still want to look at to judge our sort of distance, but picking an aiming point so you can sort of imagine that you'll come to a stop right over it. So we'll just call that it here, come around here. But there's not much to look at obviously because it's just grass, but I can see a little white patch on the ground, might be a sheep or something on the aerial photo just past it, so I'm going to look at that as my aiming point. So as you can see now, we're sitting pretty much right over the circle because I've got that little white dot is what I was looking at as my aim point. So that's just another little trick that I got taught from Stu that might help you guys in refining the approaches to say a dolly or a pad. It's just picking that point just a bit beyond where you want to land. Looking out the side is something that's really probably only possible in VR, like accurately, because of you can lean out and look down, and that's something I'm still struggling with and trying to really learn, because once Flight Sim 24 comes out with the ability to do sling loads and things, it's going to really challenge us. And when you're first starting out with helicopters in the sim, it can be quite frustrating at times just because there is a lot going on, and it takes quite a while to just sort of get that feel for it, as you might say, to flying it. And it's just a continual learning process. Like, I'm by no means any sort of an expert. I'm just still learning. Every time I'm in the sim, I learn something new about what you can do with them and how to fly them more accurately and more precise. As long as you're having fun when you're doing it, it's probably the main thing. And you'll notice, like, when you're on approaches, once you sort of get the handle of the hover, you will be using a lot more of the movements of the stick as such, and you'll be having to, as you put in power, as you're coming into a flare, to like come to a hover, as you translate through into the to a ground effect, and that you will need to apply more and more pedal, obviously, as you pull on the power, and then vice versa when you take off and as you accelerate away, it will reduce. Right, we'll just shoot back down to Hilly Seeker and park up and land. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to comment on the video or whatever, and if there's something you'd like me to demonstrate how I do it. I mean, yeah, like I said before, I'm not an expert, I'm not a real life helicopter pilot or anything. I just enjoy flying in the sim, and I've been flying them for a wee while, so I feel like I'm sort of getting the hang of it, but I've still got a lot to learn. But I'm happy to try and help out anyone that is just getting started, that just needs a couple of pointers just to try and feel like they're actually getting somewhere rather than just getting frustrated with it. Right, we'll just go over there and we have a go at landing on the dolly. I should actually do an approach into that just to finish off, so we'll go out and do another one. So I need to push myself to get better all the time, so kind of try and find a challenging things challenge you every time you're in the sim to sort of improve your skills. Just like flying into the bush and going into remote helipads and huts and things is a good way to do those confined area style approaches, and just hone everything down to be more precise. Right. I hope that was something a little bit different, and hopefully for any of you that are just starting out in the sim, that it might be of some help. Otherwise, just hit me up in the comments and ask a question or whatever. I'll help out if I can. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.